A death long day behind you, good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, till a fascist smile on your head. Come on in, the door's open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and let the stories you hear. Cause we're talk the tavern. Here you're always welcome. The talk the tavern. Promising beer and bad love. The talk the tavern. Music.
Who the hell is raping their microphone?
Elizabeth, who else?
Oh, it's the turtleneck. And welcome to Monday, February 4th episode of Talk of the Tavern. Social DIY.
Talk of the turtleneck.
Talk of the turtleneck. That's a tittle hit. Anyhow, right. Shh. I'm intro. It's my monologue. With backup sarcasm. Yeah, welcome to February 4th, Talk at the Tavern, did the topic. I am Travis, I'm your host. Let's do an opening toast of, here's to the changes that come with growth. May we never have the growing pains that go with them.
Drink that. Late, fella.
Okay, I think I introduced myself. I'm just going to go clockwise on the screen, and I'll start with Kevin. What do you got there, man?
I am smoking hand-rolled drum tobacco, drum gold tonight actually, and drinking strong black coffee. I think, again, Nescafe Gold tonight. I'm going all out with the gold flourish tonight.
Oh, nice. Nice. And what about you, Elizabeth? What do you have?
Does it start on it?
Shoes. Technically shoes. As always. I'm drinking a nice cup of throat coat.
Throat coat?
Throat coat. I spent Super Bowl yesterday with friends, and they're all very heavy smokers. So I lived in a chimney for a while. And Talk of the Tavern water.
Now available in your tap. Hey, what about you, Chris? What do you got?
I've got rum and Dr. Pepper.
Ooh.
So Talk of the Tavern glass.
What kind of rum?
Blackheart.
Nice. So spiced rum. That must go good with Dr. Pepper.
Yes, dark spice rum that's a little heavy on the cherry and the vanilla.
Nice. So for everybody else who's viewing, let us know what you have tonight. Alcoholic or not, doesn't matter. We're not judging. And, Chris.
Whether your drink's alcoholic or not as well.
That's right. Thank you, Kevin, for clarifying that. That's very important. It's anybody have anything interesting happen in the past 7 days that they care to? Did Elizabeth just go change her clothes? So, still have the assless chaps on or not, Elizabeth?
Wouldn't you like to know? No, I took my turtleneck off so it didn't interfere with the microphone.
That's probably why you were a little muted earlier also. It was all snuggling into your turtleneck and everything. So there we go. Now we know.
Now we know. Now I'm in. Why?
What the hell was that?
Who are you trying to kid?
There we go.
And that's how I lost the election.
I don't know why that. Oh, okay, so Des says I have a large hydro flask of water, and Win says water, black coffee, vegetable tiki masala.
Ooh, nice.
Ooh.
That's nice. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I do like a nice tikka.
Yeah, that's good stuff. It's Win, it was fun watching you on your stream earlier. I forgot that I had Amazon Prime. I had Chris, well, thank you. 4 months going, Chris. Way to go. And then he makes a psychotic face. Yay, us.
Aren't you glad I'm here?
Wait a minute, that looks like one of the emotes here. Kevin, why don't you tell us what happened in the past 7 days for you, buddy? I know you had some interesting stuff.
I have 2 things. Let's go with the less interesting one for me, first. Last year, a TV company came and did some filming at the pub I work at, related to a local ghost story that's linked to the pub. I forgot all about it, and then my friend messaged me this week, and I've just seen your Gerding mug on Channel 5 talking about some ghost bollocks. That was the text I got. Just seen your Gerding mug on Channel 5 talking about some ghost bollocks. That was some bollocks generally related to ghosts, by the way, not actual spectral testicles.
I was going to ask about that.
So now I'll put the link up. It would appear from Travis trying to use it earlier that you might have to go through some kind of bullshit registration or whatever, but if anyone does want to try and watch it, I will put the link in Twitch. It's to a series on Channel 5 here in the UK called 5 Celebrity Go Camping. It's episode 4, 30 minutes in. If you want to see my 3.5 minutes of stardom on British national television.
So it's just like your porn video.
No, I said 3.5 minutes. The porn video is 3.5 minutes. That's because slow-mo footage at the start and the beginning, plus the extra retakes.
And the extended credits on each side.
I thought that was quite neat the way that. No, never mind. Let's not talk about what they're on either side of.
So what else did you have? What if that's the less exciting? What was the more exciting?
That was the less exciting thing for me. Other people found intriguing. Like, oh, I was on TV. I was like, it's crap. They were there for 2.5 hours, and it's like 3 minutes. The actual footage ended up making it to air. The really interesting thing that happened, as far as I was concerned this week, was I had an SKP 15-foot pod.
I did see that, along with your exercise bike.
Elliptical trainer.
My bad. I can't recognize these things in the wild.
So my latest acquisition, which is a big female Burmese python to breed with my male, decided she was bored and she was going to pop the entire corner joint on her Viv, then force her head out, and then ran the rest of her body through. Problem is, her body at the fattest point is like that. So as she's gone through, she moved the entire front panel out, and after then all the glass doors dropped out and fell. Luckily, there's a rug in front of it, so they fell but didn't break. Yeah, she essentially ripped one half of the front face of her house off. And when I discovered this, I discovered the empty house. Now, my big pythons are all in the same room in the house, and they're in that room rather than any other room because it's the secure room. There's no holes, no cupboards, no gaps. If she escapes for any of them were ever to escape with it, we know they're in that room.
Right.
You would not believe how hard it is to find a 25-pound, 15-foot python in a tiny 12 by 12 room. It took me a quarter of an hour to find her. There is a bookcase in the room, and this bookcase is only literally 2.5 foot deep, front to the back. Quite a tall thing. And about 3 foot across, maybe. And at the bottom, instead of the fascia coming up to the floor, it's a tiny little gap carved like that just to be decorative. And she'd somehow managed to squeeze her entire body under there. And when I tilted the tray like that, so my wife could check underneath to see if she was there, at first she was like, no, she's not. Then she turned and looked and went, fuck me. And she was coiled into the base and braced against the outside, literally smuggled away in the base, like, just keep quiet, they won't see me.
That's fabulous.
Yeah, so never underestimate the hiding ability of a 15 python.
And if anybody's looking for hide-and-seek tips, well, there you go. Hello, Gary. Thank you for the resub. Appreciate it. 3 months for Garrett. 3 months for Gary. 1 month more,
thank you.
You'll catch up with Chris. It's true. It's true. So, how did she? When you found her, was she like snippy or anything? When you like went to pull her out?
She hissed at me a couple of times. She was a bit vocal, but she didn't resist me when I went to grab her.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I was worried about pulling them out when they're wedged in somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, she was a little bit defensive, only vocally. She didn't make any attempt to try and strike at me, and she didn't resist.
Oh, that's good. So how did you... Because, I mean, once you tilt it back, obviously you were the one to get her out, so you couldn't be holding the bookshelf tilted and getting her out at the same time. Wouldn't you? I'd worry about putting it down. Is she, moved a little bit?
That's cool. I switched with the wife. The bookshelf, when I tilted it just because it's big, once I had it tilted up at an angle, I was like, just stick your hand on there and hold that for a sec. While I dive in and yank out 15 books worth of Python from inside the base.
15 books worth of Python. Hey Bob, how are you? Good to see you, man. It's Bob, you are the number 2 cheerer. I appreciate that. Look at that. You've got a lot of points there, Des. So what about you, Elizabeth? I know you had at least an exciting weekend, if not an exciting week. You unmuted, then remuted. Haha.
Is it working now?
Yes.
Hey! I wrote. It was a very productive week, and I look forward to writing. I get up wanting to write. It's just a great change. This weekend I followed a birthday boy on his microbrewery cruise, and
a microbrewery cruise.
Well, his wife drove, and
okay, so you were like cruising to microbreweries. Yeah. You didn't go on a boat that stopped at multiple microbreweries.
Right.
Okay.
And we weren't out of control. It was fun, but
right.
It was enough. And then on Super Bowl Sunday, which was go Pats!
Hold on, back up to the brewery. What kind? Did you get any new beers?
Nothing but. We went to Big Ugly. Don't you? Big Ugly Brewing in Chesapeake, Virginia, and it was very good and very affordable and a good beer. And then we went to, what was that called? I forgot. It's on my phone, all my pictures and everything. But one of them, of course, we went to Luther, Virginia Beach, and one there's a new one in Chesapeake Mall by Pembroke Mall. Blew me away. I can't remember. I would have.
It's all good.
All these names down.
No, you don't have to. I was just curious if you I found a new favorite type situation.
No, I found the beers overpriced, not as good as European, and way too much syrup. It's like the new thing. Everything's very, very sweet.
I tell you what, though, pretty much after any beer, European.
Agreed.
Oh, I'm a peeing. Maybe you're not peeing.
I'm always peeing.
Peeing right now. Okay, no, Super Bowl Sunday.
Super Bowl, go Pats. It was delightful. I had a lovely evening with friends and their parents, and steaks were made, and really fun, tiny little potatoes.
Let me clarify. She said steaks were made, not mistakes were made. Just so everybody knows. Mistakes were made.
Or snakes.
Or snakes were made. So, steaks, what kind of steaks were they? Tell us slow.
The chef had porterhouse, and the rest had New York.
Jerk! I don't blame him, though.
Yeah. It was funny, too, because he said, how do you want your steak? I said, rare, really rare. Barely legal, rare. And it was gray.
What? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to thank you, Bob. Appreciate those bits. You are now back in the lead. And Gary, of course, come and go as you will. And Toei says high stakes. As in high stakes. Not as in hello, meat.
Yay!
Yay, meat. So
and it was really fun and lots of laughter, and I love when there's cooking and people cook together, because it builds somehow the camaraderie and the joy, and all of a sudden it becomes those moments in life that you remember from with the smell, the taste, the sight, tactile. It's fantastic.
But you also had a cake, didn't you?
Oh, I see. Yes, it's a delicious cake. It's
That's the last of it right there. Nobody else gets any.
It's a pound cake. It's a pound of cake.
That's not funny.
It's delicious cake. It's fantastic. This is one of the cakes we make. It's incredibly simple. I think there's just 5-6 ingredients, and it's continually people tell me it's the best cake I've ever had. There's no frosting, just sugar, butter, flour, vanilla, egg,
Basics.
cranberries, and pecans,
There you go.
and a lot of love. A
So-
lot of love.
And apparently the team you were rooting for won in a very long, drawn-out, not very exciting game from what I hear, even though it was the lowest scoring game in Super Bowl history.
Well, I had enough beer on Saturday. Sunday I didn't have any beer. I didn't drink. I think I had some sodas and nibbling on little pretzels. It was a very low scoring game, but it was some of the most athletic, best defense I've ever seen.
That's what I was thinking as I was watching the score. I'm like, oh, it's low scoring, but that's got to be a good game because they're working. They're hustling to keep that score.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen soccer matches in the same way, where unless you kind of are a player, they're kind of long and boring. But it's a chess match; it's happening, And I think if I had been drinking a lot, I probably would have found it boring. But it was interesting. I enjoyed it. I always love a game. So they got a game. You can't always get 300 touchdowns. My God, Sometimes you gotta.
Not even my whole life. Now, what about you, Chris? I know you had an exciting week last week. Because every night.
Sorry, you cut out there. What?
No, what about you? I know you had an exciting week last week. Because every night I talk to you, you're like,
Oh, yes, with all of Vectorworks training.
Uh-huh.
It was super exciting. And after spending the last 2 days at my desk trying to apply the things that I learned, I realized that I did not retain as much as I probably should have.
did you take notes?
I did take, while useful, are not helpful. But I also think the version that I'm working on over the last couple of months have managed to change like default settings without realizing it. So now certain things don't work like they should, and I can't just reset to like 0 without like losing or every time I open a saved document, it's like, hey, here's all of your imported save settings. It's like, but no, I want to.
Now, didn't you? You also don't have a computer that keeps up with the program, apparently.
Yes, that is also true. My computer does not meet the minimum requirements to run the program, and I accidentally told it to try and create a multi-sided polygon from a bunch of lines that I had tried to draw together. Well, it turns out those lines weren't all connected, and it tried to fill out the entire infinite drawing space with an object, which froze everything, which was super fun waiting 35 minutes for my computer to catch up.
And all our nerdy friends right now are cracking up, and the rest are like, we don't give a fuck. So depending which side of the spectrum you're on the show, it's a totally
But I
different
learned
perspective.
to draw things in 3D, so, you know.
Yeah, Kev?
One of my favourite memes of all time is the classic painting of Jesus coming out of the cave after Easter weekend, and the rocks just go back, and Jesus steps out, and he looks up and he goes, "Fucking lag."
That's pretty good. If you're an MMO player, that would have been like one of those graveyard runs where you got lost on the way back. Oh, so did we totally lose Elizabeth, or is she? You got your ears on? Oh, she's muted anyway.
Come back.
That's right. Hey, y'all. What's your handle? So anybody else have some cool stuff to talk about before we... Kevin, didn't you have a week off, so you, like, watched a lot of Netflix?
Yeah, I watched some stuff. Pretty much done with second series of Punisher now, for a few movies. Watched a lot of comedy this week, actually.
I'm curious about Punisher. Oh, go ahead.
That was it. I was just saying, I've been watching quite a bit of comedy, some of it new stuff. Some, there's a few newish Netflix specials that comedians have done. I've been catching up. Also, some old classic stuff. Bit of things, George.
Well, I'm curious about The Punisher, because I had somebody else say it wasn't as good as season 1, they were disappointed in it, etc.
I think the reason some of the fans weren't as ecstatic about it as they hoped to be is the first one, pretty much every episode, once it got rolling after the first couple of set of episodes, there was something to satisfy the action. And in this second series, that stuff's still there, but it's not every episode, it's not constant, it's not time. There's more cerebral stuff going on. When it happens, it's still just as gloriously gratuitous and fun as it was in the first series. It's just not as much of it. So people who are looking for the same topics, I want to tune in and see this guy fuck people up. Oh, hang on, I've got to sit and listen to them talk about plot. That, I think, is why some people say, if you like the Punisher, the character, like I do, then I'll be still in the second series.
Okay. Now, this is not a spoiler. If you guys watch the trailer, you'll see this. But apparently Jigsaw is not as messed up as one guy I know. He was really hoping to see heavy scarring and stitching. He's like, oh, he's got some scarring on his face, and that's it. I'm like,
it's the only thing I thought was a bit bullshit was the first time you saw him without the mask on, and I was like, what the fuck? It just looks like he's been in a bad bar fight. I've seen people fuck their face up worse than that through alcohol without anybody else involved.
well, that sounds like an interesting story. Do you want to tell that one?
I don't know if you guys have an equivalent of beacon diving. So, like, illuminated beacons in the middle of the road on crossings and stuff like that with an arrow showing us here or whatever, and they're made of plastic, so if cars hit them they just fold over instantly rather than causing an impact.
Right.
Or if you're pissed and you run at them and dive onto them hard enough, they'll fold down and then flip you up again. Allegedly. But yeah, if you're drunk, you need to pay particular attention to where you're being flipped, and not, as my friend was, face down into the rear bumper of a car.
Oh my god.
Oh man. I asked for the damn story. I should have known better.
Well, like I was. Okay, fine. I'll tell you.
I'm very empathetic to that type of story. Ow! Especially when they, in movies where they take the guy's jaw and put the top jaw on the curb and then kick him in the back of the head, gets me every damn time. I'm just like, oh, yeah.
Every time someone watches American History X for the first time, if you're sat with someone else who's seen it, you can tell. People in the room, they won't say anything because they want you to be just as fucked up by it as you were the first time you saw it. But you can tell because they're the ones who go.
They kind of lean back and clench before it happens. Yeah, that's... I remember the first time I did that to somebody. It never gets easier. I'm totally kidding. It does get easier. Anyhow...
Curb stomp looks violent and it triggers certain psychological empathy in terms of how it is, but there are much easier ways to knock someone's teeth out, trust me.
I'm just terrified of that. Like, you ever scrape your teeth on a metal cup? Now go do that on a curb. Ew, shivers. But also, I am for some reason very vain about my teeth. I don't have great teeth. I don't have pretty teeth, but I don't want to have my teeth wander away and no longer hang out with me. Yeah, it's, like when I have like nightmares, it'll be like I lost a tooth randomly, not in a fight, not in some horrible thing. Just I went, oh, tooth gone.
Does it just fall out?
Mm-hmm. Usually, yeah.
I sometimes have them where they crumble. They just start, if you brush them or you touch them and they start crumbling.
See, usually for me, it's like only one tooth. It's not like all of them. It's just one, and yeah.
Which one?
It varies. It varies. I mean, it has been a molar, it's been a top, a bottom. Yeah, Kev?
I have so many cavities in my teeth that weekends teams of spelunkers go on organised expeditions through them.
Well, you're British. You're supposed to.
It's a national stereotype I have to keep up. Once I pass 55, I qualify for my free wound.
I
Nice.
thought you were going to say you have so many holes that when you breathe heavily, you can play tunes.
But trust me, when I've had the wrong kind of food, I'm like an ocarina. Don't matter where you put a finger, the gas is coming out. So
Hold on. Do you want to hear Star Wars or Star Trek? I just have to breathe in a different rhythm. That's
That'd be amazing.
that would kind of. You'd be like, I got a cool friend who's missing a bunch of teeth. You got to meet him. What? No, it's not like my grandmother who's missing teeth. Totally different encounter this time.
No.
Oh, Grandma. She knew the value of $20.
hey, $20 is $20.
She had a beautiful tooth.
It's right over here. Click, 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 click.
It's right here.
I had to put in. It's
Family tradition.
handed down for generations.
The good tooth.
One good tooth of the family.
And that's why we never get hired.
That's right. This is why we're not invited back if people do make the mistake of hiring us. It's
You know that thing sleeping couples do in the bed where you have that slow but constant war of attrition to try and see who can get the most of this butt duvet in the bed. That's kind of what started happening in camera at the moment between me and Fred. So Fred had taken up position on a cushion next to me, which was fine. But gradually, it's now half on the cushion, half on my leg, and slowly, literally dropped my arm out. I am just going to say, oh dear, point the camera at it. Fuck it, we'll have Fred cat.
It's during the week I have started pointing, as I laid tables out and put blankets on it, the cats are spreading further and further out, as you can see on the camera here. It's but I don't let them hear. And I guess I'd have to pivot the cameras, but there's one right here off camera and two here off camera. And I have 5 cats within reach. I can be like that guy from the Muppets that hits those things and turning up. Ow, ow, ow.
This one needs tuning.
So I'm standing, I stand down there, right. It just seems to help my back. And I'm standing, I have all of my work on my bed. The bed's quite high now. And I have 2 box springs on top of each other. And the mattress, it's very high.
And a pea underneath one of them.
Happens to us all at our age, don't worry about it.
I just blame it on what's his name.
Travis?
I got all my stuff up there, and I was looking up a few commercials for class, and I shared it with you guys. And my hand is on my little trackball to my right. And it's quite a high bed. Even a young 3-year-old cat gets open down. It makes me hurt. And the 15-year-old cat swaddling in. He's much too heavy and much too old to make it that high, but he insists on jumping up. And today was the day he decided to catch in between my fingers his claw and then have his entire body weight hanging from my hand that's on the mat because he tries to pull himself on the bed. So apparently screaming is a good way to get a cat to retract their paw. And it's just claw marks still in my hand.
Can you hold it up to the
mail everywhere. Oh, you can't quite see. You can see this part. I don't know. I can't just shut it.
Oh, no.
It's just an excuse for you to do that to the camera.
Okay, Win.
Right there.
Okay, hold on, guys. Win is leaving. Let's wait. We'll wait right here, Win. Okay.
Anyway, I forgot what it felt like to have a claw in your hand and have an animal hanging like from the meat of your body since I had a kitten, and it was a nice memory. Like, oh, it does hurt.
You okay there, Chris?
Yeah.
Nope, I'm done now. I'm gonna.
He's got to go pee a little now because
Yes.
pain triggers the pee
Shut up.
response.
Roll up into a little ball and rock back and forth.
Spooning pile on Chris.
So Chris, I'll give you some pound me toothpaste if you just want.
Chris is little spoon. Next person is big spoon. The one on the outside is the ladle.
You rang?
It's not the same when you don't say it like Lurch. Okay, let's see.
Rang below.
Why am I looking over here? What is going on over here that I decided I need to... No idea. I think it's because I want to pipe.
But now we're all interested.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, Travis. How is that?
I don't know. Maybe it's the spirit of my one-tooth grandmother. It's hard to say. But real quick, I do want to thank everybody who is joining us tonight, and thank you guys for the continuing to subscribe and throw bits at us. Don't forget you can do both of those for free. One via Amazon Prime, that's a subscribe, and the bits by watching advertisements and ignoring us for 30 seconds while the advertisement goes on. So
Double win.
that's right. Win-win. Watch a ton of ads and then throw 'em bits at us, which...
I'm doing it now.
That's right. I think we all are, really. It's just easier than having to talk. What's your stream about? Watching ads. What's yours? So anybody else have anything else they want to...
I was going to say they're effective as well. The other week, just to keep Travis quiet, I ended up buying a 4 Galaxies.
Wait, the phones or, like, star systems?
No, like a car.
No, is there a car named Galaxy?
Wow.
No, it's just, it was, yeah. I mean, I'm implying that I listened to so many adverts rather than you on the show that in the end they were successful in selling me a car.
Oh.
Although the comedic impact of the statement is somewhat subdued by the necessity of explaining.
I think it opens up a whole new door of comedy.
Thanks for pissing on my bonfire there. Carry on.
You're
I
welcome.
think that's the best comedy when you have to explain it.
So what's a Galaxy car look like? I mean, who makes a Galaxy?
It's like a ugly people carrier thing.
So it's like me giving a piggyback ride? Ford Galaxy with an IE instead of a Y. Oh wait, that was produced from 1958 to 1974. They now have a Ford Galaxy from 95 to present. Took a 20-year break, went on vacation, raised a family, worked a normal job, came back. So what does a Ford Galaxy look like? Okay, oh there's a whatcar.com review. Okay, oh, is it a minivan? It's a minivan now.
It's just a name I plucked out of thin air. Now Travis is going to do an online review of it.
Speaking of online reviews, that's something that happened to me last week. There we go. John says, Ford, he had a 62. No, I put a review on Google. I did a Google review for the place I bought a car from. And it was not a very flattering review because they're crap customer service all the way. Well, I got a notification that Hart Nissan, which I'm guessing somebody bought them out and they changed the name, Hart Nissan, responded to my review. And I clicked on it, and I go to it. What's that?
They're coming for...
Well, no, the review is gone. It says this review is no longer available.
Oh.
And I'm like, the fuck? So they could just, like, if you change your name, you could have reviews deleted?
What was your review? Will you read it to us?
I don't have it. They deleted it.
It sucks, but legally, that's perfectly viable because
Actually, it is.
Even if it's the same people, it's essentially a new company. You
Right.
can't hold a new company legally liable for the sins of the old. So
But
they've got every right to Facebook to remove reviews if they're in the name of the old
no,
business.
I agree with that. But my experience with them, Elizabeth, is I went in to buy this car that I have now, paid cash for it, and they kept hemming and hawing, getting me to go higher and higher, and finally I got to a price where they agreed. That took like an hour and a half just to get to that point, paying cash. They went, great, I'll go have it prepared for you. Now keep in mind, I just test drove it. It was perfectly clean. It took them 3 hours to clean the car and get it to me. And then they didn't have the title. They're like, we'll have it sent to you. Called them multiple times over the next 3 months. No title. Still don't have a title. So this is just kind of customer service I got. I'm guessing because I got a price below what they wanted to sell it to me for. And the, salesman was just being a dick. Because he hid for that whole time I was waiting. I saw him pop out of the back, run into the break room to get a soda, and then disappear in the back again. He didn't make a fucking sale for 3 hours because I was in the lobby waiting for my car that I just paid for.
Dumb people.
So that's what the review was about. By the way, I only paid $10,600 for that, and it's all leather interior, Bose things, roof rack, 4-wheel drive.
Travis, just remind my poor aging brain again, Ryan, what was the exact name and business address of the company you were referring to?
I'd have to go look it up, but apparently now it's Hart Nissan as opposed to whatever it was.
Hart Nissan based where?
Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Yeah, there you go. Spread the word.
There you
Fuck
go.
'em.
This is the same car where last month I was changing a tire with the jack issued with the car, and the weight of the car bent the jack that is factory issued. So, I have not had a good experience with this car.
That's not concerning at all.
It's
What factory issued it? Pillsbury?
could be. It was a Pound Me Too jack.
The Pound Me Too jack. Oh. That's right. Memorable.
So, anybody else have anything before
we
we...
don't want to talk about it.
We're going to move on. What is that? Is that like a Ziploc of dope?
Jack sounds like a toy from the same line as Tickle Me Elmo.
I don't know if it's the same line. It's probably in a different store. It probably inflates to 24 pounds per square inch.
Tell me more.
Elizabeth is all go on. Devnall! Good to see you, Devnall. Oh, that's not what I want. Devnall says, love my Toyota, just saying. Well, if you can grip both sides and go to it, it's okay. Reasonable. Anything else to talk about before we get on to the topic of how to make friends as an adult without involving genitals? Be a short comment.
You said without involving genitals. Jesus, hang on, I need to revise this.
Damn it, totally different show than what I was predicting.
Yeah, goddamn, yeah.
It's
Well, the bad news is I'm going to be really quiet for the next bit, but I've got some great third hour material.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And Andrea will be with us in about, just under an hour, we hope. And then at 9 o'clock, in about 15 minutes, guys, I'll let you know it's 5 minutes in case you need to get up and leave before this week in history. Without Ed with us...
It's okay to do it at 10 minutes and then 5.
We do it in stages for different people. Duly noted, Elizabeth. Oh, wow. That really scratches undercarriage really well if you do that. Nothing. Anyhow.
My cat got me in my finger crotch.
Now I've got a burning, itching sensation in my finger crotch.
Oh, you just ripped it. Oh, it's a pain. Bad.
earlier I went into the room looking for Harry because I had 6 cats in the room. So one of them is not here, and I went to find him, make sure he's okay. He's sleeping on my side of the bed. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. He misses me. He's waiting for me to come to bed. But then I realized he likes Andrea better. He was probably sleeping there hoping to replace me and make sure there's no room in the bed so he can just have Andrea all to himself. It's
Probably a safe bet.
It's not a bad plan, really, for a cat. He's definitely cuter, and he can lick those places I'd never be able to reach. So, about the topic. About the topic.
So many answers. I got overwhelmed. I didn't know which one to choose.
Do you want to go down the list, kind of like, you're going through an outline of... Go ahead.
No, I'm distracted. Topic.
So the topic is social DIY, adulting edition. I came up with this concept a year or two ago of social DIY because I basically think, as a society, we are not necessarily taught how to meet new people, make new friends, and properly interact with people on professional and personal levels. So social DIY is basically learning how to fix your own shit socially, because nobody's going to do it for you. So I'm referring back to that. The adulting edition is, as a kid, we're put into situations where here's a social situation. Our parents take us to parks. We go to school where you see dozens, if not hundreds, of other children every day. You have plenty of opportunity to meet new people, make new friends, or get in fights on the playground. No fights on playgrounds anymore, is there? Yeah. It's all bullying.
There's
and
no fights on playgrounds, but they're far more monitored.
They're like, I'll tell the teacher before you. They're much more passive-aggressive. My dad can afford to sue your dad. So yeah, this is the concept as an adult. How do we meet new people? Sorry, Elizabeth, or Kevin, or, well, all of us, without involving genitals. So I'm not talking about how do you go to a bar to get laid. That's not what we're...
Why did you go to me first?
Because you had a list or something. We were all...
Because you look so wise.
Oh, wise. You said wise. Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know where I was. So, I don't know. Do you guys get any thoughts or comments on it's easier for when you're younger to meet people, even in your early 20s, versus your 30s or beyond?
Oh, it's absolutely easier to meet people when you're younger. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time you're, like you were saying, you're forced into those places. But even when you're not, you're still out and about more. Especially turning in your early 20s. At least over here, when you're able to drink again, you're like, yes, let's go.
Wait, able to drink again?
Well,
yeah.
drink it all. Fine, whatever.
Like, in public, I mean. Chris takes a drink.
I need more alcohol in me so I can continue. But anyway, you are more apt to be in social situations.
When you're younger.
Whereas now, I fucking hate people.
See, that I was actually going to mention that. As you get older, you just learn the value of a good relationship, and you're tired of working through the crap of a relationship that's probably just going to be gone in a month anyway. And I don't mean romantic. I mean just an interpersonal friendship.
Yeah, I think it's different for everybody. But I think as you get older, you start to appreciate that you don't have time to be things or people, especially not when you're not getting anything out of that. So everybody works out these things are the things that are genuine to me. And if the person's not providing that, you're like, well, I don't mind knowing you, but I'm not going to invest a lot of time in trying to bond with you because, fuck it, I've done this before and it's a waste of time. You're a lot more picky, a lot more selective about who you want to put the effort into forming a friendship with in the first place. When you're younger, you don't care. Every interaction is valuable. You're someone new. You're interested. I'll hang out with you for it. Just because there might be something I can learn from you, something common. You're much less choosy, and also you haven't been burnt. You know, undeniably, you've probably had some shit go on. But we all know life is full of shit. So the older you get, the more shit you've gone through. So again, you don't have the caution that's born of having been burned many times. You know, when you're younger, you're like, fuck it, what's the worst that could happen? When you're older, you're like, I don't know, this could lead to emotional drama and baggage. You know, I've been there before, I've done my share of that. Like you say, I don't have the energy for it anymore.
Well, that, and I think also as we get older, we settle into our careers and or jobs, and you spend most of your time with your immediate coworkers. And even when you're not at work, because those are the people that you see on a regular basis, you tend to want, well, if you like your job, you tend to want to see them outside of work.
See, if I can comment on that, during my 20s, that was true. As I got older, I purposely avoided hanging out with anybody I worked with, even if I liked them. Because it got to a point where I got burned too many times, where, yeah, you're friends for like 2 years, and then suddenly something happened, and they're all against you. And I'm like, you know what, it's just easier to maintain a professional, friendly relationship and not... Now, with that in mind, keep in mind, I met Ed at work 20 years ago. That's when he and I met. 2 decades. Yeah. And then I met Kevin at work also. He was on the other street corner.
My name was Roxanne back then.
He has a beautiful falsetto.
Okay.
I'm good.
Don't reach for your wallet, Chris. He's out of business. I'm kidding. He still does jobs on the side or in the back. Anyhow, right, where were we? See, this is why we don't let me talk.
We were on that street corner.
Yeah, but I didn't really I don't make friends with people I work with anymore. I want to, but I've learned that lesson multiple times. So hanging out with people from work, outside of work, even Andrea deals with that now, where, you know, generally she avoids getting to know. And also, the better you know somebody, either the more you like them or the less you like them. Very rarely do you go, the more I know somebody, the more I feel the same. It really kind of goes one direction or the other. So people she works with, she's like, if I don't get to know them, there's never drama between me and them. And also, I don't fucking hate them. Because they're morons. Or I know they don't wash their hands and pick their nose and cook in the kitchen and then bring that food in here for everybody to eat. Yeah, nobody thinks of that shit but her. I do now, thank you, Andrea. You know? Every time I've got a group function and somebody brings food, I'm like, what's their cleanliness level? So you were saying, Chris, but yeah, most people do hang out with people they work with also, and they marry somebody they work with, and they can't work with them anymore because they're sleeping with somebody else in the office, or street corner, as the case might be.
See, also my job most of the time does not allow me to get out to see people.
You're the guy in the dark corner, literally.
on a, well, I don't want to say normal basis, but on a, you know, bi-monthly basis, I'm pretty much at work from 1 in the afternoon until 1 in the evening, except for Sunday evenings and Mondays. No one wants to do anything on a Sunday evening or a Monday.
Amen. Oh, God, I feel you there. Because my days off are always random, depending on demands of trade and shift, you know, so I can be off any day of the week. And my days off are always shit. It's never weekends, so you can guarantee that. That's our busy time, you know, so I'm very unlikely to be off on the weekend. So trying to get your mates together to go out and get shit-faced on a Tuesday night is really difficult.
That's why
Come on, let's get a session on, lads. So like, Kev, it's Tuesday. Like, it's my night off. let's go out, let's have fun. They're like, no, it's Tuesday, I'm going to sit in and watch country and Coco.
Yeah, the problem with working in an industry that is based on people's time off, you don't get normal people's time off.
No.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Ironic.
It's 10 till.
Yeah.
10 minutes till.
Okay, thank you.
Go on, Kevin.
Specifically because I get so little actual time away from work to go and hang out with people in the first place. That's one of the reasons why I've kind of grown out of the habit of hanging out with anybody from work, unless they're, really worth the effort, and it would literally be just one or two in that case. I don't hang out with the guys I work with my day off, because to me that's a bit like a busman's holiday. I see these people 6 days a week. As much as I like them all, I don't want to go drinking with you on the 7th day as well. You people are not the entirety of my life. I have other friends who don't see me for those 6 days a week. I like to try and, in some kind of circuitry basis, at least make touch base
Well,
with
apparently
them.
they don't see you on the 7th day either, because it's Tuesday and they have to work.
Well, so now that we're in renovation, I won't have another show that I have to work on until September. I've got the next, 8 months of nights and weekends. This is kind of great. But
Nice.
everyone has gotten in the habit that they go, oh, well, Chris is probably working, so we're not going to bother to invite him to all of the things that we do on a nightly or weekly basis, or when we have an event, because he never can come, so we don't do it. So, just the other day, I was talking to someone, and they were like, oh, I didn't realize, because, yeah, I guess you would be free. And I was like, yeah, because I had no idea that you invited everyone but me.
I invite you places. Sorry about that.
Well, that's okay.
So how do you feel about dark alleys? What if they're moist? Let me just put that in there right away.
We all float down here.
There we go. It's I want to say hello to everybody that is just now joining us and popping in. I want to thank all our subscribers and bit throwers. We love to see your bits.
Everyone.
Bob as our biggest bit bobs.
Bit Bobs.
Yeah. I see what I did there.
Bob's Bits.
It is Bob's Bits. Yeah.
Sounds like an American rural curio shop.
It does. It does. It's and I see.
Yeah, but it'd be like Bob's Big Bits. Anyway, continue.
No, I think we're out of alliteration. I do want to give a quick shout out to Skipper, who has joined us. I see you in there. You don't have to comment if you're otherwise busy. I am getting all your postcards. I do appreciate them. Got a stack of them
As
here.
always.
Put in the book.
Hope you're feeling alright as well.
Yeah.
Sending you best wishes for a speedy recovery and stuff.
See, I'm not on Facebook. I didn't. Is this the same thing we discussed a couple weeks ago, or is this?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
not more recent than
Okay.
that. I don't know how speedy his recovery is.
Okay.
That's still ongoing. Hope you're doing alright.
Yeah, absolutely. And hello to Jewel, or if Jewel, you've just logged into, Jamin's account. Hello to Jamin. Anyhow, going on, we've got a couple more minutes before we take a break and get some refills and then go into this week in history. So something I would like to talk about when we get done with this week in history, I think it's too long of a topic to go into right now, is, so we've expressed these problems and these opinions. We're a relatively intelligent bunch. How do we fix it? How do you work around this stuff? Besides get on a, live stream called Talk at the Tavern once a week, which I know we've expressed how much that's fun and helpful and conducive to good mental health.
We'd probably do this even if we knew there was literally nobody out there watching, because without it we'd all have to pay for genuine therapy we can't and yet so badly need.
Well, I have absolutely said that to each and every one of you. I don't care if nobody's watching, I'll still be doing this because I like hanging out with you guys. Anybody viewing and watching and hanging out in addition to us is bonus. And it does add, something to it. But, what are we working out? Missed all that part. Tell you missed the whole meat of it. Okay, the bottom line is topic, social DIY, adulting edition. How do you make friends as an adult? Easier when you're younger. As you're an adult, basically you don't have the time, you got a family, you got a job, or you hate people because you're old and bitter. To summarize it okay? We good? Kind of catch her up there?
Yeah, that pretty much
It's
sums
a
it.
fairly neat encapsulation of the last
Okay.
half hour, I think.
I think that's also the actual introduction before anybody answered anything, almost word for word. It's so we've discussed the issues with how you meet new people. Now let's discuss, how you can make it better and how you can actually, because we want friends, obviously. We want people we like to hang out with. Life is not about just maintaining a job. A job is about maintaining your life, not the other way around. Bob says, I made a friend with Ralph at... You know what, Bob? That's our local news. Don't bother reading that, Kevin. I don't want to have to explain that one on air.
Okay.
But if you look up Virginia governor racist, you might find some things.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, it's
That's what they call hashtag self-explanatory hashtag.
yeah. It's and then Win says Pixar, it didn't happen. Which the funny part about that comment is what brought all this out is pictures from his yearbook in medical school. So, see, Jules says walking around with a dinosaur works really well. So, but do you meet a lot of people that you're like, hey, I want to build a friendship with these people? And I'm talking to Jewel here, not Bob.
To be fair, anybody walking around carrying a dinosaur, my initial reaction would be, you are probably the kind of person I'm going to get on.
That's very true, yeah. Even if you're dressed as a giant dinosaur and it's an exoskeleton around.
Dressed as, even more stuff.
Yeah, either way. Now, it is 5 minutes till. I need to pop off and get a refill. Are you two both hanging out, or should I wait till one of you get back?
I need to go find out why there's an alarm going off in my living room.
Excellent, you do that.
Okay, that sounds like an intelligent plan. I need some coffee.
Okay, go get coffee, and I will chat with everybody here. It's, Bob, keep commenting, but I'm not replying. I want to let everybody know in about a half hour we will be making an announcement about the show. So make sure you hang out halfway through This Week in History before you leave. I want to let Andrea get home so she can be a part of the announcement. It's very exciting. Very exciting. I have wood. Let's see here. Don't forget, below the screen, you can join the Discord channel where you can interact with us when we're not on air, though we're on air most days now. As well as you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, etc. Don't forget you can support the channel by giving donations, throwing bits, or subscribing. You could do both those, the second and third thing there, for free. Subscribe via Amazon Prime. It costs you nothing, pays us a little bit, and the same with the bits by watching video advertisements. You could also purchase merchandise, support us via Patreon, and don't forget you can listen to Talk of the Tavern on Google Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spreaker, Stitcher, as well as the website. So we appreciate all the support and all the love and you guys coming around and hanging out with us, which is actually the most important thing at all. It's I love $20, but I love you hanging out more. So appreciate that. Let's also do this real quick. If you guys are looking for other content, make sure you check out Toei's stream. Elizabeth's back. So she's very entertaining there also and very interactive with her crowd. She is a crowd similar to ours. A little more PG than PG-13, but there you go. And now that Elizabeth and Chris are both back, I am going to step away and refill my drink. I'll be right back, everyone.
The alarm was a movie. My roommate has a date in the living room.
At least it's not the basement.
Well, not yet.
Did you get out at all this weekend?
No. I mean, I left to get food.
Oh.
That's about it.
So a perfect weekend.
Oh, give a spill.
mindless slurping. Not the first time it's happened on top of the tavern.
Oh, I didn't want it to go all over my desk and keyboard. That would just be
Well,
messy.
I can't think of a better situation to do it.
It was also cold and gross all weekend, so, you know.
Oh, is it cold up there?
Well, not today. It was in the, like, almost 60 today. But,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh, you can see my... I was going to see if I could play some sounds, but now you can see my hand. You know what I'm doing. How did World of Warcraft do? How you doing on it?
Good. I started a new character. Yeah, I guess it was late Saturday night, and then by yesterday, because he started at level 20 instead of level 1, because it's one of the new races. And he's like 47 now.
Sorry to interrupt,
like
guys.
20-some levels in
But
a day.
there's this. Here we go. Where is it? Come on.
This week in history.
There we go. Now, without Ed here, we're going to do a round robin type thing that we did a couple weeks ago, but I do want to reply to a couple comments here. First of all, Devnall, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. 15 months Devnall has been subscribing. Devnall, you were...
That's awesome.
Yeah, he was one of our first subscribers and has been consistent. Even if he disappears for 6 weeks, he comes back and immediately subscribes again. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Toei says, I can't believe there was a ASMR commercial during the Super... What? We just had fun yelling, what? What? At the TV while the woman was whispering.
Translation for the British people, please.
Audio sensory meridian response. Basically, here it is.
Hang on.
And if you can imagine the rain, and I touch myself, and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Drop some. Thank you for the subscribe.
I'm
You guys,
actually good at that.
you're good with that, or I'm good at that? Which one did you say?
You are unnaturally, frighteningly good at that.
Bob has commented before that I should do more ASMR, and other people have said when I was writing on air, it was like ASMR because it was very background music, and then the typing noise, and me panting heavily. It was all very ASMR. And by the way, thank you for your 6 months of subscribing. I do appreciate that, and as well as everything else that you do. I will not be attending Mysticon because Andrea does have to work, but appreciate you trying to make that work out for us and all that good stuff. We should be up to 10 or 11 subscribers at this point in time, thanks to you guys. Okay, so who has the first thing for this week in history?
I guess I do, since I'm cheating again.
Awesome. Oh, what?
February 4th, 1895, the first rolling lift bridge opens in Chicago.
Those are fucking cool.
They are super nifty.
I
had forgotten what a rolling lift bridge looked like, or that's what it was called, until I went and looked at my notes from the thing, and I was like, oh, those bridges.
Do you have a link you could drop in chat so everybody can see them? I guess we could just Google rolling lift bridge.
Because I'm awesome and was really good at this job like 7 years ago.
It was a while ago, wasn't it? I tell you what.
Last edited May 1st, 2013.
There you go. Yeah, it's 6 years ago for that one. I love bridges. The architecture, the technology, the ingenuity that goes into bridges just amazes me.
In high school, the architecture class had to build several bridges and test with weight to actually learn like the different shapes and why you suspend certain things versus, putting pylons in others. And
Well, I tell you what, even going back to like Roman era bridges, where we figured out what a keystone is, I'm like, wow. I like to think I'm a smart guy, but I don't know what I would have come up with that shaped rock. I don't know if I would have. I would have been like, fill that shit in with sticks and mud. I mean, I could make a brick, but they'd look exactly alike. They wouldn't have a special middle brick. And
then you wouldn't get an arch.
No, it's probably true. I'd get some peasants underneath holding shit up as my cart goes across the top.
Packing Travis's bridge with clay isn't the difficult bit. It's then assembling a gigantic kiln around the bridge to fire it up.
It's about right. It's Then again, there's other things that just technologically wise that we've had for centuries, if not millennia, like windmills. Windmills fascinate me. Or who came up with a water wheel? I mean, so you've got this wheel that makes the grindstone, but you've got sticks that go this way, and then who went, I've got an idea. Can we do this?
We don't do it all at once, that's for sure.
That's true. That's true.
Who came up with the idea of milking a cat?
Milking a cat or a cow? Which one did you say?
A cow.
Okay.
A cow.
The cow wasn't
Definitely.
me. The cat?
But even so, the very first time that happened, what were they trying to do?
What, I assume have sex with it, and they fell over and grabbed anything.
Give it a taste.
I just, in my head, by the way, I just rhetorically answered my own question with the view of Tom Green in Freddy Got Fingered.
Never seen it.
I'm a farmer. And if you haven't seen that scene, I'm sorry if you Google that later.
I've never.
I was going to say, who thought almonds? Everything about an almond, except the bit we eat, is either poisonous, is poisonous to us. The leaves give you, a rash, like poison ivy. The shell is deadly if you eat any bit of it, but the almond inside is good to go. How many people went through to get to that almond center, and, or went, he just died from eating that. Maybe I'll try and I'll be okay.
I
think that around somewhere we would just avoided all almonds.
What, Elizabeth?
Well, I agree, but sometimes people are determined and people are bored, and olives, you had to soak them in vinegar, otherwise they're poisonous. So you're going to go through quite a few villagers or slaves. Let's see if we soak them in water.
Then there's the other way around. With apple seeds, you can eat an apple seed, you can swallow an apple seed, but if you boil it down to its essence, you get a poison.
They must have watched animals eat it, and then they think, okay, that's got to be something that,
That makes sense.
Or someone didn't die. Wow, he didn't die. What the hell?
He's a god! Stop that. No, really, he's a god. Okay, so Elizabeth, what do you have for this week in history?
One of my favorite presidents, 1989, on February 4th, 1789.
Okay, that's a little different. That's a different era.
George Washington is elected as the first president of the United States.
So why is he your favorite?
Right, and he didn't take office until April 30th of 1789, but today he was elected.
It took that pigeon that long to get there. I don't have Google Maps. Where the fuck is this guy?
So just take your time, why don't you, George?
I don't know. Back in that time, you could get a letter from D.C. to Philadelphia in 3.5-4 hours.
Crazy.
The postal service was way better then than it is now. Of course, you probably would lose your horse, but you could do it.
There were probably a lot less letters, too, to be delivered.
That's true. Shipping costs were probably a little higher, too. You want to ship a piano? Fuck you, 4 hours. Oh, Daniel, how are you? Thank you for the bid, sir. Appreciate that. Good to see you.
Never mind the technicality of shipping a piano. No one can have fucking cost that. I can barely afford to send a parcel to the US.
I know, man, especially overseas.
we finally said, have enough stuff for Trace and Andrea, no problem. I'll swing by the goods councillor in the morning and take our second mortgage so I can go and post it in the afternoon.
This is why we only send each other things once every 18 months. We're like, save that shit up.
He's like, oh, hey, I've got this cool thing for you. I'll send it the next time we send a package.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the glass we're going
to...
Okay.
Somewhere in our respective houses, there's a cardboard box somewhere that's packaged up and sent off, and a new cardboard box appeared and is slowly filled with treasures.
It's true. It's true. It's right outside the door here. It has a Talk of the Tavern glass in it, and our restriction is everything has to fit within that styrofoam holder. So we're like stuffing things around it and inside it, and we're like, okay, is that everything, or are we?
It's like a Russian doll of merchandising boxes.
It's exactly like that. So, now, Kevin, are you playing... Oh, you know what? Elizabeth, I didn't get your answer. So why is he your favorite president?
Because he walked away.
Okay.
He walked away from his third term. And then I also liked he did it not because he sought power, he did it because he believed he could do something positive. And he was
well, yeah, after turning it down like 2 or 3 times before because he really didn't fucking want to be president.
Yeah, he really didn't want to.
He got tired of people standing outside his window going, "Psst, George, are you sleeping?"
One of my favorite, it's the call of the hero. The hero keeps saying, no, I don't want to do it, no, I don't want to do it, and then that's why you'd be good. It's
By the way,
amazing.
Daniel says shipping a piano to the UK, $600 to $2,000. Now, a couple questions here. First, is that then or now? Second, the fuck do you know that for? that you pulled that information out of your ass that quick. Are you good at Googling, or you're like, no, I just shipped a piano like 3 weeks ago. It's this 4th one this year.
It's funny, you guys should ask. Yeah.
Well, and like an upright piano, or are we talking like grand or baby grand? Because that's size different.
Or a Casio keyboard.
Right.
Google Baby. I don't have Google Baby. It's like a smaller version of Google. Okay, Kevin, are you playing This Week in History Roulette, or?
I can play. I've got a list of events that happened on this day, but I don't have lots of details for them, so don't ask me about them.
Oh no, you know that's going to happen if we turn everyone into a conversation.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, let's start with something really topical. In the year 786 today, Harun al-Rashid succeeded his older brother, the Abbasid Caliph al-Hadi, as Caliph of Baghdad, as I'm sure we all recall.
Oh yeah, I have a question about that actually. What made you thought we would give a damn? What?
Absolutely nothing at all, other than it is literally the first thing.
Oh, suggestion, because right now you're losing This Week in History Roulette.
Okay, my next one is a good one.
Go ahead, Chris. Show them how it's done.
Today in 1795, France abolished slavery in all her territories and conferred citizenship to all the slaves.
Okay, you don't get them all in a row. We got to take turns here.
Oh, fuck you. Okay, right, that's my next one. Carry on.
Kevin's like,
I mean, that is a big improvement over the last.
I don't know. I'm building myself up in stages, you know. Coming out with the big guns first round.
Sure.
Some kind of amateur.
by the way, Toei says, does that guy have a song in Aladdin? Now, related to that, I was listening to the Aladdin 2 or Aladdin 3 soundtrack, the one where he meets his father with the Den of 40 Thieves.
That's the third one.
Thank you.
With the giant turtle.
And in the song where the bad guys are singing about what they do, they are literally in a Disney movie singing about how good they are at raping. I'm like, well, that probably wouldn't clear censors now.
Yeah, no, that's not true.
But here's this rated G movie, and they're just like, yeah, we're really good at raping and plundering. And I'm like, wait, what? Really? I mean, I don't have a problem with that, because that's what these people did. They were bad guys, but here they are recruiting. They come in hoodies, Bob. They come in hoodies now? Because that kind of makes sense to modernize it and bring it forward a little. Anyhow.
Okay, you cut out for a second. Hang on. You said Aladdin, they cut the song?
No, in Aladdin, Part 3.
Oh, part 3.
They have a song
Okay.
where the bad guys are singing about how good they are at rape.
Well, I'll stay away from them.
Well, it's a recruitment song
That's it.
to encourage other people to join them.
I've told you about these chaps before, Mabel. They are coming off of the Christmas card list, constantly banging on about their vaping all the time. I can't be doing with it. Before tea as well. Most uncool.
Chris, please give me your next one before I read comments.
February 5th, 1861, the first moving picture peep show machine is
Hell
patented
yeah.
by Sam Goodall.
Hell yeah.
I remember that day.
I remember being really dehydrated the next day. I don't think we all really have anything to say about it, but we can take a moment of silence.
I'm just glad I'm not wearing any pants. Okay.
We're glad you're not wearing any pants also.
Sadly, I am wearing pants.
Well, that's a change.
I know.
Normally I'm on Discord with Chris. He's like, no pants. I'm like, do you have a towel underneath? But anyhow, I digress. I don't think there's a lot to say about that besides, of course, porn leads the industry. Because that's what it's, Elizabeth, what do you got?
1861.
Oh.
It was a penny.
Okay, this is the week in history, but today, February 4th. February 4th, 1938, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was released. The animated film was released and had major success in the box office, making more money than any other motion picture up until that point.
I tell you what,
1938.
for being 80 years old, that's really stood the test of time. I mean, yeah, we
It was
could.
extraordinary.
Mhm.
When you study animation, animators study that oops, sorry, cat and claws. Okay, that style of animation, they pioneered that. Up until then, it was very goofy and bouncy with the tunes reels they would do. And Disney insisted on developing that style, and they studied life drawing like crazy, and they even rotoscoped and studying frame by frame water droplets and such to bring animation up that huge level. It was an amazing artistic breakthrough that people don't even quite realize, and it's an extraordinary film. I highly recommend anyone watch it.
Yeah.
I was
You
just
kind of want to
watching
slap Snow White, but you were just watching it, really?
Well, no, I was watching another Disney documentary, and they were talking about how they still, even now, will go back into like the archives of the like background scenery and that sort of thing, and go and find those old ones and pull out all of the sheets that are just, layout after layout of all of the backgrounds to try and just look at and figure out the new style, and to see what you can, do with it still, and they're still using them in the archives.
There you go, 1938.
Kevin, what's your first memory of Snow White?
Wow. I don't know, I would have been quite young when I first saw it. I don't know my first memories really.
How old were you in 1938? Did you catch it in the theater? Or?
20, I was about 27.
That was funny, your little Fred's head was watching you and Travis asked
Yeah, he's done that annoying thing where he's got himself hooked into, his claws hooked into my jump. He's now
I remember being maybe 5 in a theater and oh, I'm sorry, did I interrupt you?
No.
I'm sorry. I remember being about 5, I think we were in a theater in Arizona, and watching the forest scene when she gets lost in all the trees with the eyes. I remember that scene very clearly, and the witch, when she's offering the apple, and then when the dwarfs chase her, and there's that big lightning strike on the mountain. That was terrifying. Good fun. Like, you couldn't look away, but you were afraid.
I remember the first time I saw Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs porn, I thought to myself, those are not dwarfs.
Okay.
Hi-ho!
Since I'm now no longer the first person to bring up Snow White porn, let me offer a comment on that. I went to the.
I open doors.
Well, I once opened the door to the Museum of Sex in Amsterdam. And somewhat alarmingly, in amongst all of the historical sex exhibits, on one of the floors, there's a little separate side room, and when you open the door, it's done almost like a children's classroom, where all the little stools are like toadstools and mushrooms with their little red and white painted spots on. But at the head of the class, instead of a teacher, is a large widescreen TV showing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs porn. And I just opened the door and went, okay, let's carry on.
After that, I am
Someday
sleepy.
her friends will come.
I remember as a teenager reading Playboy, and the one comic strip or cartoon in Playboy of the prince lacing up his breeches, and she's got a mess over her face, and he's like, this might have been Penthouse, not Playboy. This is probably a Penthouse cartoon but her face is a mess, and he's like, as long as she stays asleep. Yeah, probably a comic strip you couldn't put out today. I mean, except for middle schoolers. I mean, no. Who
Well,
Yes,
Elizabeth, you mentioned someday her prince will come, which segues rather beautifully into my next fact, which is that today in 1906 was the first day the New York Police Department began using fingerprint identification and keeping fingerprints.
Yeah, which they find is not accurate. Well, I mean, they still use it as a regular means of identification, but it's not accurate.
But then you have to have above a certain number of points of similarity before it's considered accurate enough to be evidence anyway.
Yeah, but quite often it's people looking at them, literally, like just looking at them and comparing it with their eyes as opposed to.
Okay.
Nothing is. I mean, it's just if you get enough evidence, and
Right.
this is one of the.
Right.
It's just, yeah.
Well, I only mention that not because, we should remove this, just because so many people think it is a flawless system and a fingerprint is definitive. It's very much not.
No.
There is not that much, with the billions of people on this planet that are alive, not counting the ones that are dead, there is definitely repetition and duplication in almost everything. It's, yeah, so. Yeah. Okay, Bob, I'll read that one. Hold on. Bob says there was an eighth dwarf named Ron Jeremy, the Long Dung Dwarf.
The dog.
Long Duck Dung. 16 candles.
That's a happening.
It's John Hughes.
Stole that movie. 16 Candles. Long Duck Dog stole that movie.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the better parts. I remember his role better than what's her face's role.
Yeah, Molly Ringwald.
Yeah,
Molly Ringwald.
Molly Ringworm. Don't forget, Sleazy, Horny, and Pokey says when happy, horny, sleazy, sleepy, sneezy, pokey, dopey, doc. Swallower, spitter. We're just.
When they reindeer.
They were dwarf reindeer, little teeny reindeer. I wonder if Andrea's on the way home yet.
He said, half curious, half in a plea.
Okay, who is next? Kevin, is it your turn? Are you up? Are we? Wait, did you just give yours, or are we still on Snow White?
Just did the fingerprint one.
That's right. We backtracked to Snow White. Moving forward,
Yeah.
Chris.
February 6th, 1891, the first great train robbery by the Dalton Gang of Southern Pacific, engine number 17.
What did they do that made it great? Why was it a great train robbery instead of just a train robbery?
I think it was because they got away with it at first.
Okay.
Wasn't it the largest amount ever seized in a train robbery? Wasn't that why it was the great one?
Very possible. Let's see how quickly I can skim the Wikipedia.
Then there was the Mackenzie brothers who did the fabulous train robbery, but they dressed all in sequins and tights. Listen, Andrea just pulled up just for anybody who's curious.
Not to be confused with the second great train robbery, when the British government in the 1980s took the nationalised rail service, privatised it, sold it off to the cheapest bidder, and destroyed our public transport structure.
There is a hi.
Just to add a lighter note.
We're going to give her a minute to get in here. Then we'll make the announcement. And Toei says the news headlines made it great, probably. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just the sensationalism, hype around it, as opposed to, right time, right reporter, right headline. Now it's the great train robbery.
Well, I want to know, what's so great about why is it always robberies? The great train robbery, the great bullion robbery, Why do you never get, the amazing hit and run?
Well, I'm curious about the great balloon robbery. Is that like the guy in the park with 50 balloons going, balloons, balloons, and somebody's got a gun going, give me your balloons.
An amazing balloon robbery would be like grabbing someone's wallet and then making you escape via a bunch of helium balloons.
That would be great. I just imagine the sound 50 helium balloons make when you're running away. It's like
I see someone trying to rob a bunch of people in hot air balloons, and at gunpoint, give me all of your. All right, get out of here. Not going fast enough.
The chase is on.
No, they just start yelling, give us our money or we'll drop something on you.
I've got a pen and an attitude. Don't be stingy. You're going to make the sound of Goliath shitting himself if I do this. What? I've got cats for you. I can turn the tables.
No.
Are you going to sit on that side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Yay!
It's we have had 3 resubscriptions today.
Yay! It's
And-
because I wasn't here.
And Bob threw bits to get ahead of everybody, as well as
He threw
Yeah,
bits
that was
to get ahead.
due to a misconfusion where Bob actually thought he was throwing bits to get ahead from everybody.
yeah, that makes
Well, he
sense.
could think that. It's okay.
It's
We gotta get enough to fly you over.
and also Daniel threw bits, and I think that's now. Oh, we're,
She's so scared.
and we're playing.
I tell you what, Bob, if you donate enough bits to fly me to America, I will give you head. You can choose the enemy.
That's timing for you.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
So
Okay.
are we ready for the announcement?
Are you pregnant?
No.
Oh, good.
I mean, we could finish this week.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and do it in the middle, and then we can discuss it for a minute, then go back to finish this week in history. It's I was just wanting Andrew to get home. It's almost 9:30, and there's
Somebody's cat.
Bob is screaming, Elizabeth's playing with her pussy, Kevin's playing with his cock. It's Talk of the Tavern. It's okay, guys. The name of the channel will be changing to Sivart Social Club. And this is to encompass everything else we do that isn't on Monday night. Monday night's still staying Talk of the Tavern. We're still doing things as Talk of the Tavern. But the rest of the week, when I'm doing all these other things, Talk of the Tavern doesn't quite encompass it. And I need, because our viewers were kind of wandering off because they're like, well, this isn't Talk of the Tavern. So Monday nights is not changing, staying absolutely the same inappropriate group we have. But the rest of the week, we need to... Hold on, let me, I am typing it in right now. There we go.
Is it spelled right?
That's what I'm double checking before I hit enter and update. Because otherwise it's 3 months with a misspelled name. It will be Sivart Social Club. Don't forget you can sign up for the newsletter down below. I'll still be sending that out, letting you know what's going on, talk at the tavern, etc. Oh, wow, it's
Etc. What?
so now you can update your name every 60 days instead of 90.
Oh wow, thanks.
Yeah. Just so you know. Now I have to go change the display name. Otherwise, it'll still say the wrong thing. So. And that's why everything is... but that's pretty much it. It's not much to it besides that. And during the week, I will be doing other things. Possibly, writing or even reading, recording videos, making videos on World of Warcraft. As you can see in the bio there, it says... Give me just a second, let me finish doing this. There we go. The page is updating. Oh, you know what? I wonder if everybody's going to have to refresh their page. They might have to because I changed the name.
Refresh your page, people.
Yeah, if you're viewing.
Okay, Harold. Yeah.
So anyhow, yeah, we'll see if everybody makes it back over. Oh, it still says 17 people. So there we go. Okay. But yeah, as the description and whatnot says, let me pull that up. There'll be chatting and socialization and writing, editing videos, tabletop gaming on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So you could join us for that. Entertainment news and our usual topics, tangents, drinks, cats. And I've put the rating
We
at
have 6 cats
PG-13.
right now.
We do. It's better than Infinity Cats. It's easier to clean the litter box. That's it. Yeah, I had to reload. Okay, everybody, reload because I changed the name in the middle of the stream. That was quick thinking on my part.
No.
Mate, come on. You taught this lesson in the 80s and the Ghostbusters never crossed the street.
That's a good point. That's
Except that one time when you need to cross the streams.
right.
Yeah. Then just totally go ahead and do it. It'll be fine.
Right.
It'll change soon enough, Daniel. It'll change. I'm not too worried about it.
What?
Daniel says the top name changed, but the one on the bottom didn't. The title of the stream is not going to change because that's still every Talk of the Tavern show. I will be titling it with Talk of the Tavern, so people realize that's what's going on at that moment. Okay, so anyhow, who is next? I think it was we just did the Great Train Robbery. Elizabeth, do you have?
There was a train robbery?
There was. It was
I
great.
do. One moment, please.
Okay.
Here we go. In 1974, February 4th, newspaper heiress Patty Hearst was kidnapped in Berkeley, California by the Symbionese Liberation Army. She was the one that was held for so long, she began to feel sorry with them and then began to commit felonies and hold up banks and rob.
Stockholm
Felonies?
syndrome.
Absolutely.
Did you say Symbionese?
Like Simba?
Why do you say
That's
that?
what I'm thinking. But were they
Symbionese.
Symbionese, thank you, Emily.
Symbionese?
She read that.
Where the hell? What country
Where's
is that? What the fuck is that?
I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah. Who the hell are those people?
Portion of the Symbionese Liberation Army. Left-wing militant group between 1973 and 1975.
They were an offshoot of the People's Front of Judea, but not the Front of the People's Judea.
They were anti-racist, anti-capitalist,
We're the Judean People's Front. Splitters.
That's right.
Is this Slytherin?
Splitters.
Sorry, I'll shut up now. Go back to my Ocelot's nose.
domestic terrorists. Domestic terrorists.
Domestic terrorists. Okay.
Here? Like
That phrase always, in my head, that just conjures up a picture of somebody comes in and throws eggs around your entire house.
Yeah. And they got curlers in their hair.
Well, they're much better than those imported terrorists.
We call them the French.
We call them
They're
the.
more affordable.
They are. That's right. And they buy American. It's important. It's all American fertilizer and dynamite caps.
But they got her, and they got her picture and everything. And she's not very happy in her mugshot.
It's. I think
Most criminals generally don't tend to be.
Yeah, I think we would be the exception to the rule where they're like, stop doing the thumbs up and finger guns, Travis. Do you mind?
I don't mind.
Rolling pins for weapons, says Witten. That's right.
She sure looks happy holding that machine gun in the bank, man.
You sure that's not a picture of like Bonnie and Clyde or something? Just be like, hashtag terror.
And leave your hands out. Wow. No. What a ride, though. This had a wild ride right before they got her. Shooting and killing people. Wow.
So what happened to her? Did they rehabilitate her and she took over the newspaper eventually and became CNN? What happened?
Yeah. I was gonna say she turned into Hillary Clinton. I don't know. That's a good question.
It's a good strong background for a politician. So I was kidnapped, terrorized, became a criminal. I think I'm really fit to lead the country.
There's a police shootout.
Oh, yeah, please shoot out.
No,
It's a fun kids party. Right along with great balloon robbery.
She is convicted. And, not a good hairdo. Not a good hairdo. Thatch up.
Like that was the top of her list of worries that day.
Right.
Oh, you're gonna. This is fantastic. Okay.
Is this before the rich can get up? Go ahead.
She was she was convicted of bank robbery and sentenced to 7 years in prison. She was President Carter commuted this sentence to time served after she had been in prison for 21 months. She was pardoned by, if you would say it, President Bill Clinton. President Bill Clinton.
Oh, so was that recent?
Got their hands in everything.
Pardoned?
Don't listen to Clinton.
So she was pardoned 15 years after she got out of prison.
Yeah.
How does that help? At that point in time, because she could vote again.
It's kind of like, oh look, we'll let you go. We're watching you.
That's right. We've pardoned you. You can now go buy a gun.
Pardon me.
Yeah.
It's not like she's
Probably
gonna
already had one.
Criminals are known for having guns.
And you can vote again because you're no longer a felon.
Right,
You can now vote.
I bet you she voted
She no longer
Democrat.
has to check that committed a felony box on her.
That's right. She can go erase them on the old
Erase
ones.
some tattoos, man.
That spider web on the elbow, a little teardrop by the eye. Devnall. Devnall. Okay, Kevin. Do you have the next tidbit for this week in history? Or are we done? I don't know.
I've got one for
Okay,
you.
what do you got?
So
I got a couple of more.
Okay.
this one's Second World War related. On this day in 1944, Japanese launched a major attack on the Indian 7th Army in Burma. An action which, as well as the Indian 7th Army, is fighting for British troops in horrendous jungle conditions, including my grandfather, Charles Baker, who ran that.
Wow.
And it was apparently horrendous.
You never...
Real ugly, damp, nasty jungle-based guerrilla warfare. Very similar, akin to, I would imagine, the kind of conditions US soldiers found in Vietnam.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the audience.
Red Rocket.
Red Rocket.
That's That's why I'm like, stop.
Goblin is so excited about this news.
He got red off.
He's blowing himself. Oh, he left. Why'd he leave?
Because I'm like, move.
Did you flick his rocket?
No.
Can you show that on Twitch?
He had his back to you. He could just talk about it.
I saw it though.
We can reenact it.
Here on this specially made puppet,
I'm just waiting for Elizabeth.
available from talkoftheTavern.com.
She doesn't want to look.
I can't see is it a cat penis or something?
Anyhow.
I saw my phone. I'm sorry. Everything is like.
It's,
So it's to scale.
as I see
Oh,
Bob's...
February 7th, 1891.
Well, no, actually, I want to go back to Kevin's real quick. We never associate anything on the Indian subcontinent with World War II. As Americans, we don't, at least. You don't think, oh, those fucking Indians during World War II. You know, you think of...
Wait, which
people
Indians?
forget this. They called it a world war reason.
Which Indians?
I don't think Madagascar was heavy into it, but go on.
Hey, which Indians?
No, but
the
a
ones
lot
that
of
have a
Africa was.
subcontinent.
Certainly northern, certainly large parts of northern.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, you know, we think of the Japanese, we think of the Germans, and maybe the Italians a little bit. But yeah, we don't really lump the Indians in there, or the Brazilians. Not a lot of.
There's not so much of a tendency to, because of inevitably the strong links between England and India from the area of British colonialisation. There still is now an existing strong military link, for example, between military units like the Gurkhas and the British. And so I think that it was inevitable that in terms of troops, there were a lot more European and British troops sent to action in India and Burma than US troops. So maybe that's why it's not an action that figures particularly prominently in the American consciousness.
I just figure
what was going on during World War II. You know.
I just figure it's American arrogance and ignorance. That's all.
Well, to be honest, yeah. In fairness, a lot, these days, sadly, not a lot of British people ever tell you an awful lot about what was going on during World War II. But
yeah.
There were Germans, and it was all quite bad. That would be most people.
By the way,
I'm teaching them I'm sorry.
Go on, Elizabeth.
They're not teaching millennials about the Holocaust.
No, they're not. And there's a lot of Holocaust deniers out there now, too. I recently read an article about we'll get to yours in a second, Chris. We haven't forgot it.
I forgot.
It's not important.
There's an art... okay, you know what? I have to say... I'm debating on saying something about Bob's comments, especially... I see Bob's... It's sarcasm, people. Just so everybody realizes, Bob is putting sarcasm in the channel. So when you see 3 crosses for the new channel, and hello from Ralph N., your governor, etc., and the shoe polish comments, and the KKK hoodies, it's sarcasm there. I don't think anybody's getting offended, but I feel like I need to clarify. For those that don't know Bob.
Shit, man.
There's like Bob's comment, Devnall's comment, Bob's comment. So, anyhow.
Also, in reference to the only clean comment Bob's made tonight, which was to ask if the Sivart Social Club offers free healthcare. Sadly not, Bob, because it is an American institution. If it was called Kevin's Social Club, obviously you would get free healthcare.
That's right. That's why it's a social club, not a socialist club.
To the barricades, comrades!
That's right. Can you hear the song of the Angry Men?
You said the thong?
Yeah, the thong of the Angry Men. It's really wedged up there.
That's why they're angry.
Chris, you want to talk about Moose Knuckle?
No, I'm good.
Okay, what's your This Week in History tidbit there?
The Great Blizzard of 1891 happened, but
It melted.
But moving on to the one that more affects me in my...
Look at him sneak two in there. Go on.
Yep, nope, I'm squishing them right together because that's all I got and I'm going to be done after
Yeah,
this.
you're like all Kevining it right now. Go on.
1879. What?
I said you're all Kevining it right now.
Yep.
Oh, 1879.
February 10th, 1879, the first electric art light was used in a California theater.
Cool.
Art light.
Arc
Light.
light.
Okay, and for people who don't work in theaters, what the hell's that?
What?
So that's where the electric goes between the two little wires? Is that an
Yes,
arc light? Okay.
inside of the light bulb to
So-
make a spotlight
Also,
super bright.
okay, so is that also known as an incandescent bulb? No.
Zazzle down.
So within the lamp or the bulb, because it's a lamp, not a bulb. Bulbs are things you plant in the ground, not the things you screw into a socket. It's filled with an inert gas and under negative pressure. So a vacuum. And then the leads come out and it creates an arc between the two metal leads.
Dazzle, no red rocket.
Do they touch tips?
They do well, no.
No.
Because then there would be no art.
Do you know how many British people it takes to change a light bulb?
How many?
Just one. We just hold the bulb in the air and wait for the world to revolve around us.
It's Wynn says science. Oh, by the way, Wynn wants to know if the Great Blizzard was it as great as the train robbery? Can you Google that shit, Daniel?
I'm sure more people died in the blizzard than the train robbery.
Huh. It's possible. We could bet on that one, though, because sometimes...
Yes, because I'm pretty sure no one died in the train robbery.
You know what I'm curious about from our viewers? Is anybody in the Midwest where you went through, like, the negative 40-degree temperature last week? Any of you get to deal with that shit? Devnall says, well, friends, it's time for bed. Continue to have a groovy evening and catch you all later. Kev, the new
Go,
doctor
Devnall,
is
take
hot.
care.
He says, Kev, the new doctor is hot. Oh, the Doctor Who doctor. Has anybody watched it? No.
I've seen one. No, I've made no secret of the fact that despite being British, I reject the fact that I have to be a Doctor Who fan, so I'm not a regular watcher.
Andrew and I are the same way. It's okay, but we're not like, oh my god, Doctor Who.
I get the jokes. I don't care for the show.
Just put it this way, if you say Doctor Who to me, the first image in my head is Tom Baker.
Yeah, I'm super behind, so I'm still somewhere in early Capaldi.
So am I. I've done like the first half of...
Because I don't have access to somewhere that plays them on a regular basis. so
Amazon
it's not
Prime.
like they're- What?
Amazon Prime.
Alright, now I gotta find more time to watch.
There you go. You put it on while playing World of Warcraft. You're welcome. I'm here to help.
Yeah, but I can't watch and talk to you at the same time.
No, you cannot. You would have to pick one or the other. But it seems like you've been, needing a break from hanging out with me every night anyway. So you could be like, nope, Doctor Who night, I'm watching the hot chick.
Who?
It was just Sunday,
But
and
it's
I
just,
had a headache.
no, and it's
You
understandable.
watched
I
the
wasn't
Super
well.
Bowl, didn't you?
We were playing during the Super Bowl. I guess it was Saturday. No, it was
Oh, yeah,
Sunday.
because yesterday was Sunday.
We were chatting back and forth. Actually,
I don't know what day
yesterday
it is.
we were on Discord together.
Yeah, because we all three played.
Okay, nobody cares. Anyhow, let's move on with the actual show.
I'm just like, I forget what day it is.
I'm measuring interest by Elizabeth's face. So it's time to move on to a different what, she just have a fucking stroke? What was that face?
See, I missed everything.
Because if you're having a stroke, we're all lining up, baby. I knocked my camera sideways. Yes, Kevin?
Alright, my turn.
Oh,
I'll have an answer to your question in a minute. Carry on for a second.
Okay, go ahead, Elizabeth.
All right, February 4th, 2013. The French and their unending wisdom. France's women pants ban is lifted. The government of France overturned a 200-year-old law that banned women from wearing trousers. The law had been out of use for several years as people just ignored the law. However, the change would make it formally legal for women to wear pants.
What year was this?
Last year.
2013.
As in 2013.
2013.
6 years ago.
This is...
Glad I didn't go because I was wearing pants that day. Does it count if you're not from there? Could you still get arrested?
Yes.
And now men are fighting, and now men can openly wear trousers. I mean, skirts. So.
Squirts?
Scorts.
Just squirts.
Scorch.
Still gotta have those shorts on underneath.
Scorch were always kind of cool, but confusing at the same time. So they're like really blousy shorts, right? With a panel across it.
No, it's a skirt with shorts. It's basically shorts with a flat.
panel in the front.
Oh, yeah, I guess. It's flat.
Yeah, so you could still check out her ass, or his ass in this case. But from the front, you're like, skirt. Totally want to put a mirror on my shoe. This is why they don't let me in high schools anymore.
So, I can definitively answer the question from earlier about what was greater, the Great Train Robbery or the Great Blizzard.
Go ahead.
The net take, approximately, of the theft from the Great Train Robbery was 2.6 million.
Wow.
The Great Blizzard.
Modern or then?
Then.
Okay, that's a lot. Wow. Go ahead.
Yeah, that was the Great Blizzard. The damage by fire damage. The amount of damage in money caused by fire alone was $25 million.
Wow.
The equivalent in 2019 in money of roughly $700 million in today's cash.
Woof. Now, do you have the number of deaths in each available?
I've not seen anything yet about.
Because I know we all have fits about blizzards, but usually.
Hang on, hold on. More than 400 people died from this storm and the ensuing cold, including 200 in New York City alone.
Wow. Okay,
The deepest recorded snowdrift was 52 feet.
Fuck.
Some places recorded 150 centimeters of snow as an average. This all took place in a day and a half.
Wow, that's impressive. It's definitely snowstorm winds. Yeah. The train robbery is a pale. Well,
It was just good. It wasn't.
New York Central Park Observatory reported a minimum temperature of 6 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 14 centigrade and a daytime average temperature of just 9 Fahrenheit or minus 13 centigrade. Coldest ever marked temperature.
I remember when I went to Siberia and it hit like negative 44 degrees and I was confused. I went, is that Celsius or Fahrenheit? And I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the two meet.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Negative 44?
Yeah. And out during the day, it looked like glitter in the air, and I realized what it was. It was moisture instantly freezing in the air, creating this. Go ahead.
Interestingly, the Great Blizzard was also known as the Great White Hurricane, which was my wrestling.
Nice. Good times.
No, is that?
Oh, I saved one of your chopsticks. Harry had it, and it's in the tissue box now. Her knitting chopstick. Okay, I think that wraps us up for this week in history. Elizabeth, it is...
I didn't think it was her. No, I didn't think it was her nose picking chopstick.
Well, you never know.
Don't hit me!
There's one more. This is very important. This changed the world. Are you ready? This day in history, 1959, the invention of the Barbie doll.
Did change the world.
Doll, Barbie.
It did.
This doll was created by Ruth Handler, who was one of the founders of the Mattel company. Barbie was named after Ruth's daughter, and later on, when the Ken doll was made, it was named after Ruth's son.
Very good.
So
They've
Barbie,
had
when
sex
Ken
for
got
years.
on,
Yeah.
No, they didn't because
What's that face for? I'm fucking excited. I mean, they're good looking. That makes it not wrong. Okay, Elizabeth, it is now 6 minutes till the hour. I tried to tell you before, but you're like, hold on. So, we're going to take a quick break here. What I'd like to put up for discussion for anybody who's sticking around while everybody else gets refills or the opposite of refills is Bill Maher, who sometimes I agree with his stuff, sometimes I don't. It's I get satire. I also get asinine. But he said, after Stan Lee's death, that a lot of the fans need to grow up and be more mature and stop dressing in costumes and cosplaying, etc., and kind of took pokes at Kevin Smith there. And I'm just curious, or actually I feel like I should let Andrea give the rest of this. No, she's like, she's very subtly telling me no. You're not? She will tell us then.
Nope.
No, she's gone back. She's on the fence. So, yeah, what do we think? It's, should we all grow up and quit dressing up? And
I think everybody should just...
No, not at all. I think the same about that as I do about any narrow prejudice where you don't want someone else doing something you don't do yourself. Fuck you. Like, literally, with the amount of stupid shit there is for humans to do in the world today, you really think the biggest problem the world has got is someone who wants to put up on a costume and play roleplay?
I can move you.
Why ruin someone else's fun? Just because you can't have fun doesn't mean other people can't have fun.
Where's the negative comeback on other people? You doing that? That's what I want. If it was don't go out in the street and randomly stab strangers. Okay, to campaign with the logical reason,
why not?
Don't dress up in costume. Why? In case someone sees me in the street in a costume and goes, "Well, that guy's a bit weird." How is that in any way damaging or hurt anybody else?
You don't need a costume for people to think that, Kevin.
No, this is true. People laugh and say things like that about me anyway.
They all left.
Yeah.
There you go. That's our conclusive answer to that. No, fucking...
Yeah, pretty much.
Carefully reasoned and logical discourse is decided.
Who decides what being an adult is? What is the...
Yeah, and why the fuck have I got to be an adult? As long as my obligations are taken care of, my bills are paid and I'm doing my thing. Whose business is it what I choose to do with my time? Whether it's dressing up in a costume, going and flying a kite, or spending 60 hours a week sat locked in a room building painstaking sculptures out of matchsticks. Everyone's got their own thing. Fuck it, leave it alone. Stop it so fucking judgmental time.
Zazzle. No.
Now, Fred can do.
Oh, Fred. I have one of those in my lap too. Fred!
This is Fred's impressed face. Now, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Poor Fred.
Okay, squeeze it by again.
Fred.
This close-up Fred cam.
The dog. Okay. You need me to push you away?
I need Zazzle up. She's helping.
Oh,
I can't knit anymore.
Before we go on with the third hour and bring back the whole discussion of how do we make friends as adults, I want to
discussion.
Yes, I want to again thank everybody for subscribing and remind you that you can do it for free if you have Amazon Prime. It pays us a little bit of money, keeps us going with booze and hookers.
I didn't get a hooker.
Well, I'll introduce you to my mother someday. Keep it in the family. Anyhow, what do you have to do to be a hooker? What is it? It's not knitting, it's not needlepoint, it's... Crochet, yeah. So, you can also throw bits. If you don't have the money to buy bits, you can watch ads on somebody else's channel before our show, and then throw bits at us. Don't forget to follow, hit the share button below the screen to invite your friends in, and join us on the newsletter, join us on Discord, as well as Instagram and other places down below the screen. Merchandise, Patreons, so on. Okay, now comments. Toei says, I don't give a damn about what celebrities think we should do. Gary says they really do miss the point of their job, which is to entertain Toei. Many have made the mistake of going beyond that, and it's a huge turnoff. I can't stand Bono now, and I love you too. And Toei agrees with Gary because Toei feels everybody's job is to entertain her. Sorry, did I say her? I assumed your gender. And with that, John says, off to close up. Don't shut down and close yourself off from us, John.
Probably better that way.
Drive safe, buddy. Watch out for that blizzard of 92.
With reference to your U2 comment, I don't know if this joke's reached the US or not. You know what the difference is between God and Bono? So God doesn't walk around in Dublin pretending to be Bono.
Gary says, well, I still love Bono, actually, but now I want to pat him on the head and say, there. And then Toei applies the fucking pressure and says, so get to being entertaining, Travis. Oh,
Yeah,
hold on.
come on. Dance, monkey.
Here we go. Third hour music. That'll help.
Time for the roll call for our lady.
Elizabeth, right on time.
Slide it in there.
This is where
Yeah, you will.
Parents put children to bed and things heat up and get steamy. So pour another drink and strap yourself in. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Are you girls having fun over there? Hey, Elizabeth, I'd like to pay you an inappropriate comment real quick, if I may.
Pay her a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
You're having a good boob day. Yeah, it's absolutely, yeah. It's well, anybody that, of a certain age, you realize, you'll hear women.
I see. She gets the compliments.
Yeah, well, you're wearing a fucking
Kevin,
jumper.
you're having a good boob day too.
You're having a great forehead shine day, Kevin. What do you work for me? Actually, there's very little glare. It's really good today. Did you powder? What'd you do there?
Rubbed Fred on his
It's
head.
dandruff.
Oh,
It helps cut down on the shine.
that went bad real quick.
Are you still working on getting your shirt up?
So I pick up and get a glare. I'm off camera.
Scraping it back over. It's yeah, go ahead, Kevin. We're just waiting now.
It's okay. I've got the nipple covered. I'm
Yeah.
not releasing refrigerator guys.
Check for lumps.
I'm scared.
Just the normal fatty one that is my breast.
There we go.
Where's Bob? Because she'll be like, he'll be
Oh,
like,
Bob is
everybody
right
else's
there.
turn. Everybody else's turn.
Bed. Did you go to bed?
Isn't that a bit harsh? Someone says, speaking of large, with normal fatty lumps, and your immediate thought is, where's Bob?
I noticed Elizabeth has now angled her camera up. I apologize. I did not mean to make you uncomfortable. I just noticed some days things fall. You know what? Nice tits. I don't know what to do.
Delightful. I take my camera where I want it, so.
Which is now way up here.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, Andrea will be like walking out of the bed. She's like, "I'm having a good boob day. They fit right today." And other days they're like, "I'm way over here," and this one is reading the paper.
I'm getting angry because I think I've had a cold, and I'm supposed to go for my massage therapy tomorrow. And if I'm sick, I'm not supposed to get massaged, and that means I will be in pain all week again.
No.
That would make me cranky too.
I'm sure Bob will massage you whether you're sick or not.
Yeah, I bet he's got the cure.
Well, at least take your temperature.
Doesn't use oil, he just smears a cannoli into your skin.
You.
Cannoli.
I think Bob wants to hear that again, Elizabeth.
This day in history, born on this day, February 4th, Alice Cooper.
We're done with This Week in History. We're in the
We
third
didn't do
hour.
birthdays, did we?
Well,
Yeah, we're still going. Apparently.
my
Why not?
my son has a birthday on Sunday. He'll be turning 16. What?
Yeah, you fucking hell. Christ.
Right?
Yeah.
There will be some law against kids growing up. It's not fair. If only because it reminds us that we're also getting significantly older than them.
I'm not.
You know? You know Alice Cooper's real name?
What?
Well, I'm looking at it. Yeah.
Vincent Vernier.
Vincent Damon.
Ooh, sure it's not a typo. It doesn't say demon.
Whatever.
Detroit. He's a Detroit baby. How about that apple?
Yeah.
Right on.
He's very smart. I would love to have a conversation.
I do like
with
him. It's listening to his radio
It is,
show.
yeah, I haven't listened to it for a while, but I used to listen to him on Planet Rock quite a bit.
So, okay. So as adults, how do we make friends now? Where do we go? And this is
Skype.
part of the, well, it is part of the name change here for the channel because we come here for interaction with people we like. We have...
We're better off with friends that are nowhere near us.
Okay, you know what, Bob? Bob has clarified he is a licensed massage therapist specialized in mammary motion therapy. I don't know if that means he
Kevin
jiggles
really
his own.
needs your help, Bob.
So, I mean, we in the internet...
Actually, if you read it, what he's actually written, he says he's a licensed message therapist, but I assume he just texts you and tells you feel better.
There you go. Someone has to answer the call.
There's giggling in the living room.
Get a camera out there and see what you can get.
Wouldn't normally be a problem, but he lives alone.
There's. Anyway.
Go on. It sounds like he's taking her shirt off. Oh, I heard the bra unlatch. And her bra also.
Player 2 is entered today.
You heard that story when Kevin told it last week or the week? Okay, yeah, we all heard this. Good. I almost told that story on air in the middle of the week. I'm like, oh, you heard it, right, Andrea? About Mortal Kombat?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's fabulous.
That's a great story.
That's right, we reenacted it, right?
Finisher. Yes. Hi, Squirrel. How are you? So, in this internet day and age, where do we go to meet people that we can build a lasting friendship with? And again, to clarify, not talking about getting laid.
Oh.
I think
different.
the internet's a great place for meeting like people.
The internet's for porn.
But you need to do it at some point in a video. You need to eventually, whether it's FaceTime, WhatsApp calling, or whatever. You can't build a relationship these days based on what you see of somebody online. People forget this. Your online persona, or the elements of your character that comes through and how you portray yourself and how you communicate online are only a fraction of what makes you you. So inevitably you've got to bite the bullet and face up to the fact that if like us guys, if we can't physically get together, it hasn't stopped us becoming friends, but that's because we've spoken for many hours over video calls like the one you're watching us make now, and so we do know each other as though we've sat in. It's the same as being sat in the same room with someone talking to. But too many people these days, I think, try and build relationships online before they're prepared to commit to actually trying to get to know the person in real time. And I think it should be the other way around, because I've come to know an awful lot of people through the internet, and not a lot of them remained friends, because eventually you find things out and you're, yeah, actually you're a bit of a dick. I wish I'd known this earlier on, and I wouldn't have invested so much time in messaging back with someone who's turned out to be someone who's an arsehole.
Something else I would add to this is, I don't care how many hours you spend online, if you are getting into more than just a friendship with somebody, you must spend time in real life, because you could date somebody for a year, and when you move in together, all of a sudden you learn new shit. So imagine how much you're missing by just talking, even video, on a regular basis. People put on different faces. Oh, well, I know him online. You only know a little. Well, I know him at work. Well, you know a little more. Well, we're dating. Well, you know a little more. We've moved in together. You're about to learn a lot of shit. It's a couple comments here. Toey says, how to make friends in the living room. That sounds like a fucking sitcom right there.
Write the script.
Bob commenting on earlier, nothing worse than noisy bra hinges. Need some WD-40. And Win adds, many of my friends are from community volunteer organizations, special interest clubs.
But what kind of women are you sleeping with in your local area where their bras have hit? Like, how many
Mechanical.
anyway?
Yeah, I was going to go with large.
Get his armor off of you.
Yeah, mechanical.
Medieval reenactment.
My name is Helga.
So Wynn says, many of my friends are from community volunteer organizations, special interest clubs that meet face-to-face, which that's something that's worth pointing out. How do you meet people? Well, you actually leave the house
What?
and go do something.
I don't want to.
One of the good things about people being so media aware, media savvy, if you like, about having a social presence through being online is the fact that there are now hundreds, if not thousands more, these little groups, specialist societies that would have found it much more difficult to come together before. Now, they're, like you say, they're a great place to start if you're looking to make new friends, because what's lasting friendship based on? Well, one of the key tenets surely is that you have at least some things that both of you have in common. So if you start by socializing with people in a specialist group on a subject, for example, you're into, chances are, if they like the same kind of things as you, you're narrowing the field to people who are likely to be the people you're going to get on in some cases.
Elizabeth, yeah, go ahead.
I've had success, of course, through service organizations and online, and doing events together, especially where you have to take risks and try a sport or humble yourself or embarrass yourself. I find you make great friends that way.
Dressing as superheroes and going to conventions.
Or
Sure.
dressing as superheroes and going to Lowe's and doing videos.
But I also have friends that spend their weekends and extra raising thousands upon thousands of dollars for charities and have almost successfully wiped out polio and things like that. So I think
No pressure.
I'm not sure what it entails to make friends, because not everyone I meet or engage with become lifelong friends. But I think
It's a
much
process.
of it is, I've known, at least for me, is acceptance and patience, and also silliness and joy, and people who are like-minded in that attack on life. I tend to friend, and people who are, I don't know how to say this, maybe they have contrary opinions, not opinions, but I don't want to go out and cause trouble. I like to go out and maybe drink or go to a movie or have fun or go to an art show. When I'm somewhere, I like to add peace to it. I don't hang out with people that want to pick fights and, destroy. I guess that's how to say it. So I tend to find that people I go out and meet are peaceful and joyful in some way. How about that?
What about you, Chris?
I don't. It's sad.
I don't meet people. I'm done talking.
That's it. I just don't.
No, I really don't. Most of the time, I don't have time. So, I don't know what to do with this next 9 months of free time, because I don't ever get to go out and do things.
Maybe we should have a road trip. We should have a road trip. Go meet Chris. Bring him dinner.
Well, actually, Chris has mentioned earlier.
Oh,
Go ahead. No, I think this will lead into that, so I'll turn it over to you in a moment. Chris mentioned earlier he never has time to go out. People don't know that he has off work evenings and weekends now, etc., etc. But we have invited him out a few times for a couple things. Did you want to
I was gonna say, well, because I want to go bowling, have dinner. I want to go bowling and dress in the '50s thing and do the whole bowling thing. Well, we could all meet up, but I ended up working extra that night, so that didn't happen. But yeah.
Yes, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. It can't.
No, I'm saying, yeah, we need to plan this, so we'll do that.
I'm down.
And the drive-in theater. We should all go to the drive-in.
Toei can meet us there.
Yeah, Toei goes there too.
Yeah, she lives rather close to it. It would be an outing where you guys would want to crash here, especially in the summer where we're staying out till 1 or 2 in the morning, getting home at 3 after the drive back.
Because of a double, triple feature for the price of one.
Yeah, when you're paying $8.50 for 3 movies.
Oh yeah.
It's good stuff.
I've randomly got the line at the late night double feature picture show from Rocky Horror hanging in my head.
There you go.
Exactly. It's so we're here to help Chris on how to meet people. Well, it's a fair question, and I think
And the local bar that I, used to hang out, not necessarily to meet people, quote unquote meet people, but just to hang out, doesn't exist anymore. And I haven't found one that has a similar feel to it and clientele that I want to spend evenings hanging around with.
right.
Well, it's a process.
Is this a fight club?
We don't talk about that.
Wouldn't you like to know?
We wouldn't be able to tell you even if it was.
It could be sister cities. Bitches with stitches. I have fun hanging out with you, Chris. You're fun. It's too bad. I don't get out much either. I write all the time, but when I do get out to those events, but yeah.
When she gets out, she
I have
gets
lots of
out.
friends.
What? I said when you get out, you get out. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to watch that?
Yeah, what's the word?
we are, but we don't show it on Twitch.
Wait, which part? The cat
I have
ass?
no idea.
I don't know what they saw.
She was adding to the bald spot.
Oh, her.
Yes.
I'm looking at Andrea going, what were you doing? What's that mean?
Come here, squirrel.
The cat.
Yeah, it's okay if it's animals doing it. If it's people, it's wrong.
No.
Don't
It's
cry.
not wrong, it's just not allowable under the Twitch guidance.
Who changed the channel? What happened, Toy? What happened? Did we have a hiccup there? Now hosting.
Did it
Hold on a second.
Did it
Did it cut off?
We're now hosting Sarah Phoenix.
Oh.